Welcome to the Young and Adulting podcast, a place where we discuss real things in real time around faith and culture as a young adult today. So let's grab a cup of coffee and jump on in. What's going on, Young and Adulting podcast? Good to be back with you this week. My name is Tyler, going to be your host today alongside my good friend, Alec Bell, leading the college ministry. And today's episode is really cool because this week, SEU Worship, shout out to alma mater, Southeastern University. SEU Worship is here at Palm Beach Gardens with a night of worship for our preview students for CF.SU. I don't know if you know this, but if you're thinking about getting your degree, if you're thinking about pursuing ministry, you can do so right here at Palm Beach Gardens. Incredible time, and you can learn a lot. But today, the conversation is with Chelsea Plank McGinnis. Yes. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to get into it. So, SEU Worship.
Yes.
What's going on in the SEU Worship world?
Yes, all the things.
All the things.
SEU Worship, we are, obviously college, right? Yep. So all of our students, they're in college, staff, our former alumni. But recently we've just released our album, our most recent album, A Forgiving God, in June. And we are just trekking along with the semester right now. Like I'm sure many of you guys are out there in college, but we have chapels every week, multiple times a week. So we are just always writing, always creating, always worshiping, always learning. So, I mean, it's a lot going on right now. Yep. You know, it's peak season.
Yep. It's been super cool to see like just the trajectory of SEU Worship. Talking a little bit before, like I was there 2014 to 2018.
Right.
And just see how God's hand's been on the group and all the doors have been open and the music and the sound that's been released. So what's been like maybe one of your favorite couple songs in the last couple months that you guys have been singing?
That's great. That's really, really great. You ended your time at SU what year?
2018 as a graduate student.
Yeah. So I came in 2017. So I've seen a ton of its development as well. But lately, man, some songs I'm excited about. We have our title track off of our last album is A Forgiving God. And it has just been an anthem for our campus. Yep. Mm-hmm. So just talking about the prodigal son and how, you know, grace is not a cop-out word that we use. It's actually what completely changes us and, empowers us to live a Christ-filled life and Christ-centered life. It's the gospel of Jesus. And so talking about that's one of my favorites that we've been talking about. Another one, Dwell, which one of my good friends, Sid, sings, and it's just so beautiful. She wrote it as well. Just talking about dwelling in the presence of God. And it feels like there's a nostalgia to it where it just brings you back to like Y2K worship, you know? And so I love that. So those are a few songs I've been loving. And then obviously What a God, goes off on our campus as well. It's such an anthem. And it's cool to see it becoming an anthem for other churches as well and being able to resource other churches because, that's a huge awesome win for us that, God breathes on and we don't. So it's been great. Yeah. Those are some of my faves.
Amazing. For those of the listeners who are maybe like unfamiliar with SEU Worship or even about like your journey into worship, I think like for all of us in ministry, especially with the social spaces that we're in, it's really easy to get a glance of something. And then, like you don't always know what goes into someone's story of how they got where they are. And so, just for those who are like, man, how'd you get into worship? How'd you get to where you are? What's some of the story in that?
Yeah, I love that. There's so many people that are feel the call to worship and they don't know exactly what that means. So I'll share a bit about my story. I felt a call to ministry in around 10th grade. I feel like God always calls like youth. Like he just always speaks. I swear I was like sobbing at a youth retreat. At the altar, they said, who feels called to ministry? I didn't even know what that means. Both my parents God bless them, amazing Christians, but not in ministry. And I'm like, I don't know what this life looks like, but I feel your calling upon my life for ministry, whatever that looks like. And so since then I knew that whatever I pursued, whether it was, especially in college, I was actually a communications major.
Okay.
So I just wanted something to resource my time, whether that was in church specifically, whether that was in worship in different spaces, whatever that looked like for vocational ministry for me. I kind of wanted to resource that. And so I got on SEU Worship when I first went to Southeastern University in 2017 as a freshman. I had been on my worship team, youth and young adults as a high schooler, but that was the first time I experienced in-ears, the first time I didn't have a floor wedge, you know what I mean? The traditional church that I grew up in, which I love and I'm so grateful for. But yeah, so I was really formed through college. I don't know if you guys could say the same, even just like young 100%. Adult years. It was just so formational for me to know, what is this about? Okay, it's not about me. And at the same time, to be able to grow in excellence in what God had called me to. And we talk about it a lot because it's hard to navigate, like, okay, God, you've called me to this and I want it to be so pure. And how do I practically grow in this, and how do I critically think about this, and how do I, have a critical eye to be, God, how can I grow in this? And we always say, like, whenever we have an offering to give to God, we see it throughout the Bible. There's a preparation for that offering, right? So this is my preparation time, has just been my time in college with worship. And then now I'm on staff as the worship director at SEU, which is so awesome. But yeah, still so formational in what I get to learn and what we get to teach with worship. And, I just think of the verse, I say it a lot, but when Jesus is talking to the woman at the well and he says that the time is coming and is now here, that the true worshipers will worship me in spirit and in truth. And the Father is seeking such people. And so just to be found when he's seeking true worship, pure hearted, clean hands, pure heart, to know that comes from Christ and Christ alone. So yeah, I mean, that's like, I feel like I went a bunch of different directions, but that's a bit of my story with worship. So now serving in full-time vocational ministry as a worship director. And it was all from just answering the call of not knowing, but there I was at 16 sobbing, saying, God, yes, whatever it is, yes, So that obedience is just a huge marker for anybody. It's like, God, I don't know what this means, but I know you're calling. So yes, So that's a bit of my story with getting into worship.
Yeah, I love that, Chelsea. And we tell our college students those 4 years are so formative.
Yes.
And really the rally cry around college ministries, we believe that the enemy has disguised those 4 years of like, do whatever you want, try whatever you want, be whoever you want, and then you'll figure it out. But the truth is, who you are in college is who you are when you leave college. It is so formative. And I love what God's done in you. And maybe for the college students that's listening right now, that maybe they haven't given God their 4 years, or maybe they've let those 2 years go, but they're starting to feel the prompting, starting to feel like, hey, God, you're calling me to something. What would be your encouragement of like getting back on the bus?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, number one, it's never too late. Like you are never too far gone, ever, 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 ever. And I feel like the Achilles heel of a generation is shame. And the fact that you think, I guess I have to just keep running in this trajectory because I'm too far gone to be, especially with, if you feel called to ministry or you feel called to somewhere where there is more of a glass house, it's more of, pedestaled. And obviously that's human formed, but at the same time, you're called to a higher standard, right? And you're saying, well, my past can't be put on display right now. This disqualifies me, right? I would just say that is a lie from the pit of hell, like literally a lie from the enemy. The best part about you is your testimony. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony. Love not our own life unto death. So I think of, that's step one, like knowing that shame is going to be the number one tactic of the enemy to keep you from your calling. But I would also say start small. I think the best way that I could have prepared for full-time ministry in college was to be a good student and to steward what was in front of me. So I think of just when you're thinking, okay, I feel like God has this major call on me. What do I do? What doors do I try to open? What opportunities do I maybe ask for? Who do I talk to about this? And I would say, okay, ask the Lord, what is in my hands right now? What am I supposed to steward in this season? For me, it was, I want to be a good student. I want to be a good steward of my academics. I want to be a good friend in this season. I want to show up for people. When I was even like leading a team, I was like, okay, I want to meet with every single person on my team. I want to have this many times that we're all hanging out, like stuff that's really practical is the formational things. Those are the formative parts. And then I would also say, talk to people who are in the place that you want to be and the place that you feel called to be. So whether that's, talking to your pastors or, talking with people who have done this longer. There's so much fruit and wisdom from people who have done this thing and been faithful to something. Like there is something that God blesses about faithfulness. I have never seen the righteous forsaken. It's like, look to some unforsaken people, like who have not wavered, or not even not wavered. Everyone has a testimony, obviously, but people who have been faithful to that thing that you feel called to.
Yeah. It's the beauty of the church, right? Every generation, getting around some older seasoned saints who have lived life. I think about this, our people at Trinity, man, some of them are 70, 80 years old. They've been following Jesus way longer than I've been alive. And it's like, I got to get around you because you know how to do this thing, do it really, really well.
Yes.
Yeah. And man, if I could go back to even some of those years, I wish I would have leaned harder. I was at a high school this week getting to share the gospel. And I'm like, man, if I could go back to 9th grade, if I could go back to 10th grade, man. And so we have this opportunity now with college students and with even high schoolers, because you were talking about God chooses to use young people to move around the world. And what's happening amongst Gen Z and is incredible. What's happening on college campuses around the country is so wild. I've never been more personally excited to be in ministry. I keep talking about this to everyone, but I'm like, this is the greatest season to be in ministry. Stuff is going on. The days are dark, but the opportunity for Jesus to shine, for the real thing to be on display is like never before. So what are some of the things that you guys are seeing? I mean, I haven't been back at Southeastern on campus and the campus life in a minute, but what are you guys seeing right now as you're leading worship? How students are responding? What's the pulse? What are you guys seeing amongst college students yourselves?
It's so cool because whenever we visit places like here, anywhere else, and we ask that same question, it's like he's aligning what's happening, especially across college ministries, young adult ministries, places of worship. And I feel like we have seen a hunger on our campus grow more with the years. And there's just a thirst and a hunger from our students, from our campus, from our staff, from our faculty, that has just led us to some really, really beautiful moments. One of my favorite things is we have we have Monday night, Tuesday morning, Thursday morning, we have all these chapels. But our Monday night, we could go till midnight.
Is that still like the big one?
Yes, it's the big one. We have it every week. Yeah. We invite out all young adults from Lakeland too. It's not just our community. It's a lot of our community, but not just our community. And, we could, like this past week, we went till almost midnight,
That's awesome.
and not that that's the goal necessarily, but it just happens when people are hungry for that. Yeah. And then the next morning we have what's called prayer chapel, and we get to then reflect and sit and meet with God in a very intimate way.
Yep.
And not that the large congregational spaces are wrong or bad or demonized at all, but it's really beautiful that we can then respond to what God's doing. And I feel like that practice alone has really matured our students and our believers, that it's not just about these moments, right? Yep. It's not just about these crazy 2 a.m. altar calls that, can happen, or maybe you go till 8 p.m. and you're like, that was awesome too. And, not necessarily glorifying the time that, how long can we go? But it's not just about those moments. Those moments form us, right? And they propel us. But then that we get to respond in a time of quiet, in a time of intimacy, prayer, reflection, I think has really shaped our believers on campus to be very mature and to hunger for maturity and hunger and thirst for, okay, how can I be a person of faith in this time? So I feel like we've just been seeing revival left and right, and
it's beautiful.
Just hungry people, people that want the word of God and people that want the presence of God.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Chelsea, that's really cool. And I think what you're talking about, like the maturity of being able to worship in a corporate setting, but then also like the contemplative prayer of just reflecting on God's goodness. And I think what you're speaking to is so helpful for everyone that's listening, because if you just get used to one environment and if that environment ever goes away, or like, God forbid you leave SEU, you go somewhere else. And if you're so used to worshiping in this environment, it can almost feel like you don't know how to worship. Can I share a parenting fail? So currently, we have a 2-year-old.
I got plenty. So.
Dude, we have a 2-year-old right now. Her name's Selah. She's amazing. But currently, she's having a hard time eating. She just doesn't want to eat, disturbs her food. So we started playing Baby Shark while she eats.
Classic.
It's amazing. And she eats when she plays Baby Shark. And for the first night, Courtney and I were like, thank God the kid is finally eating. But now, every time she gets in her high chair,
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, you got to eat your egg first. She's like, no, Baby Shark.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. And what I realized is I've trained this kid of like, this is how you eat.
Right.
These are the conditions on now that you're going to eat your food. And I think it speaks to like what you're talking about of like, we need to get out of rhythm. We need to be able to eat like in every single environment, in the contemplative prayer, in the moments of high energy worship, at the Episcopalian church, maybe our friends taking us to, how can we actually worship God in all of these different environments? I think what you're speaking to, it's beautiful because it is maturity in the body of Christ.
Totally. Yeah. And you don't want to idolize a certain form of worship, you know, and even that we are so good at making idols, so even the things that God is breathing on that are pure and holy, we can make an idol of. And so we can idolize like, oh, we just need acoustic worship. Like, I don't want any of the lights or the, right? That can become an idol to you. Or we need this big, crazy service that goes till 3 a.m. and all this stuff. True. So it's very easy. I love what you said. Like, how can we learn to be fed in every environment to eat in every environment? That's like a really, really good analogy. Yeah.
Parenting fails. we're still processing Baby Shark, just so you know.
It's not over yet.
It's not over.
That's the one that gets stuck in your head and it just stays there.
Yeah, my nephew loves that one. Loves.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It stays there.
It is.
The time remaining, what would you say to like some, 18, stepping into college, ambitious, call of God on my life, I'm ready. I want to do the thing. Like, what would you say? You spoke a little bit to formation, but like, what would be some of your advice that you would go, I want to help you. Like, this is an area I would say lean into really hard as you're coming into college.
Man, that's good. I would say, number one, follow the peace of God. Follow the grace of God. Do not try and pry open doors, pry open opportunities for yourself.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I think our generation is plagued with that.
Oh, yeah.
And social spaces have only made it that much bigger.
Totally.
And so, like, can you speak to that?
Yes.
Because every person growing up, and even all of us kind of have to walk that tension of like, I'm called to this, I want to do this, but there is something. Yeah, I'm not going to preach here, but can you speak to that specifically? Because a lot feel that, and if there's not counsel, they'll run. They'll just
true.
go into it.
It's
so
true.
Speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the number one thing I have ever learned in my life. My husband and I talk about it all the time. Is the peace of God. If it is not with you, then do not go. And if it is not there, then it's not yours, right? Then that door, that opportunity.
It's great.
I think a lot of us, like even, the people, we're well-meaning, where it's like, well, I feel called to worship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my worship pastor. I'm going to say, I think I should be leading. I think I should be, I think I should be on stage on Sunday mornings, and I think I should be leading, right? Coming from a place maybe of purity in somebody's heart of, I want to be, worshiping the Lord for my whole life. And this is what I want to do. And this is what God's calling me to it. But you have to follow the grace of God's story for you.
Come on.
Yeah.
And so that to me means, not forcing open doors for yourself. It might look like God might call, just like David, God might call you into ministry, and then you're going to be back working your Starbucks shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to be back nannying kids and all these things that God's going to have you in a season of waiting, and it's not to punish you. It's to prepare you. And so follow the peace of God. It's not always going to look like God coming down from heaven and audibly speaking a voice to you and saying, you are meant to go here at this time, at this place. You're going to do this. You're going to major in this. You're going to marry this person. You're going to, and sometimes we think that if it's not that, then it's not God. But the peace of God, it's the Holy Spirit within you that Jesus has given to us. That to me is how I have made every decision in my life.
Yeah.
And how I have allowed when an opportunity passes me, doesn't come to me, when I didn't get the role, when I didn't get the gig, when I didn't get on a worship team or, get to be a part of something, or I didn't get a speaking moment. And, these are so, vocational ministry based, but, I didn't get the job. I didn't, get the promotion, all these kinds of things. It is such a peaceful place when you live and say, okay, God, that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
That wasn't where your peace was.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to be bitter at man. I'm not going to be bitter at the people who held me down, quote unquote, But I'm going to be at peace. Lord, this is what you have for me, and this is what you don't. I think grace, it's so important to know where God's grace is in your life. It's even more, arguably, even more important to know where it's not in your life.
Yeah.
And to know,
that's so true.
What is it that I actually should not be focusing on in this season? What is it that I actually won't get in this time?
Yep.
I'm not going to be an NBA player.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm 5'2", I'm a woman, like things like that. There's a grace over your life. And if you lean into that grace, I just think that is where the most godly, confident leaders come from. I know exactly who I am in Christ, and I know exactly who I'm not. You know?
Yep. That's the mic drop. Like knowing who you're not is one of the most. Yeah, we could spend like 30 minutes just talking about that. Maybe last minute, like anything on your heart aside from that, as it pertains to young people trying to follow God in the culture we live in, the moment. Like, what would be a coffee conversation of passing encouragement you'd like to give before we close?
Man, just know know that God does so much with your yes.
Yep.
God does so much with your yes. And do those yeses afraid. Do those yeses even when it's risky. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you're speaking this to this person or if you really want me to pray over this person. Just walk with God. Discern his voice. Discern the Holy Spirit. You're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to be perfect. But I'm telling you, God does so much with a yes. Be obedient. Say yes to God before he speaks to you, before he calls you, before he even marks you with something specific. Say yes. And it is so scary sometimes, but you will feel the most fulfilled doing it. You will not feel fully fulfilled any other way than with an obedient yes and following God in that way. So that would be my
beautiful.
Yeah. Awesome. Christ follower encouragement. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being an example of what it looks like to follow Jesus and to connect people with God. And so thankful for the life that God has called you to. Thanks for sitting down with us today.
You guys.
So everyone who's listening today, hope you're encouraged by this, and make sure to check out SEU Worship's music, the things they're dropping, engage with it, leave reviews on it. And then again, if you're thinking about pursuing school, CFSU right here, Palm Beach Gardens, it's an incredible place. I know tons of people that have come through. God's changed their lives through this. So maybe ask yourself, like, what's the yes, the holy yes that you need to give God, and then go for it. But we'll be back next week or the week after with another episode. We love you, and we will see you back next time. See ya.